Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. For everybody that's on the line, my name is Jay, and I'm a board member of Grace Roots, the organization that is putting on these regular Be Strong talks. And we're doing these on just about a monthly basis recently. And you can follow us at grace-roots.org or at our Grace Roots Facebook page for upcoming talks, or you can go to our YouTube channel to watch past talks as well. But at this point, I am going to turn it over to Archie Leidy, another board member of Grace Roots, and he's going to provide an introduction to our guest speaker tonight. Thanks, Archie.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much, Titan, for sharing your story tonight. We started these Be Strong. This Be Strong thing is actually a whole campaign. What we're trying to do is help people or remind people to what it is that makes them strong. And whether it's playing softball or working out or running or gardening or road biking, whatever it is that you do that gets your blood pumping, get your spirit in the right spot, so that when it comes time for choices or when things get a little stressful, you're able to go ahead and rely on the energy that you have collected and expended from that event to go ahead and survive the day. So with that being said, all these talks we're gonna put up, they're gonna go online afterwards. So if you want to reference them later, you can. They're on YouTube. Jay will talk about that in a couple of seconds. But I want to really express to everybody that these are all, in my opinion, all of these talks are gifts. And we are very, very fortunate to have Titan tonight. Titan's been through a lot of things. I'll let him talk about himself, obviously, but I know on a personal level a little bit about Titan, and to watch him grow and become a pillar in the community has really just, that's what life's all about, in my opinion. So without further ado, Titan, thanks again for being here tonight, buddy.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, that's pretty crazy to hear. So everybody that you know, I'm an addict, alcoholic, and Titan's my problem. The biggest thing that's kind of crazy to hear is Leidy say that kind of stuff, because I remember back in the day when Leidy was actually looking for me. So it's kind of weird that he's actually introducing me to actually talk to you guys. The biggest thing that, I want to say is, can we all have a moment of silence for the addicts and alcoholics that have lost their lives during COVID-19 and during their addiction? Also give a huge shout out and have a moment of silence for anybody that's been helping with evacuations for the fires and stuff like that. So if you can have a moment of silence and then follow me in serenity prayer, I greatly appreciate it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. So I have no idea really what all got me to this point, other than the biggest thing I can tell you is connection. The opposite of addiction is connection. And the best part about my story is that I was able to build a family that I'm forever grateful for, because blood don't make you family. And to give you guys a little backstory, I come from a family that, I guess you could call it a Leave It a Beaver type family, white picket fence. My dad's a principal in the school district here in Grants Pass, and, over at Gladiola now. I got family that, doesn't really have addiction, at least not in my blood family. And so for me to sit here and say that I come from the same background as the rest of you, I might not. But that's not what this is about. The biggest thing is that we're here to help the next person that needs help. And that's what I've learned in my recovery. The hardest part is when I started using, it wasn't because it was around me. It wasn't because, addiction really runs in my family. It was simply because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and no one was going to tell me any different. Huge part of my story is the fact that I never felt loved, appreciated, accepted, or a part of, which I still feel that sometimes to this day, and you'll hear me talk about it. For the people that do plant their flag, I'm proud of you. I hope that works for you. Me personally, I choose not to plant my flag because then I'm closed-minded. There's so many things out there that you guys can do and that others can do to help themselves get into recovery and stay in recovery. The best one that's worked for me is being able to challenge a lot of things. You know, I definitely do things not the normal way. You know, it's taken me a long time to get into the process of doing my steps. I'm very stubborn. You know, when I started out, using when I was 12 years old because I wasn't able to hang out with certain crowds of people. I got in a little football injury and I was prescribed some pills. And then it was one of those things where kids started to learn that, you know, my dad was the one who brought down the gavel at the schools. So acceptance was a big part of my thing, and I felt like I couldn't be a part of. So when I decided to start playing on the other side of the fence, it was simply just because I wanted to be a part of something that, you know, I had no idea about. You know, I just wanted, you know, that type of lifestyle. They'll accept you just because they want something out of you. And I loved it, you know. It progressed from there until when I was 15, I turned myself, actually I got kind of manipulated into going to my first rehab. It was supposed to be a 3-week stay, and because I'm an overachiever and Titan's my problem, I ended up turning it into a 3-month stay. The place actually got shut down for inhumane things, so I won't, you know, it was definitely a weird concept to understand, and I was not ready to get recovery. I can tell you this, and hopefully this works for somebody else, it planted a seed. I ended up watering it later down the road, and part of that type of treatment stuck with me, and it's working today. And those were like life skills type things, you know, how to be an independent man and take care of my own and take care of, you know, what I can and be there for somebody else. So when I got done with that, it was simply, let's go back to the people that love me, you know. Yeah, my family accepts me, but I don't accept myself. And in my eyes, they don't accept me. My perception was wrong that someone accepted me, and how someone accepted me was different than what I should actually allow people to accept me as. So I went on, decided to go back and mess around, and did that for a few years, you know, decided I'll do what I can to get people off my back. You know, I'll look good. I'll hold a job. I won't have any issues as long as I'm not in with the law. I'm good there, you know. And then I got the phone call. I got a voicemail from Officer Leidy here, and saying that he would like to talk to me. I was a person of interest, and I lost my shit. You know, sorry if I cuss. A lot of people. That's just me. I'm gonna get passionate, but I will try and hold it back. So when I got that phone call, I was working, and to me, that was my first run-in with the law. I mean, I had a PCS when I was younger and stuff like that, but there was never any type of other, how do you put it, consequences necessarily that were big enough for me. But to get, you know, Leidy to be on my voicemail, that seemed pretty big. I just shrugged it off, you know, called him, told him what he wanted to hear, even though he probably could see right through me. Told him what he wanted to hear. No, not a part of nothing. I don't know nothing. You know, I'm just kid off the block. You know, I'm doing fine. Don't have to worry about me. Get me off your radar. That clearly didn't work out. And I kept doing what I was doing until I finally got arrested on August 18th. I got pulled over, and I got charged with MCS, DCS, PCS of heroin, PCS meth, and then obviously the criminal forfeiture. And I was looking at prison. I was sitting in Josephine County Jail. Obviously, I remember Gaunt and Hamilton were the ones that pulled me over. And I remember sitting there asking them if I could make one last phone call to my parents, letting them know that I'm safe, I'm going to jail, everything's going to be fine, and not to worry about me. I was loaded, but somewhere my conscience was to call that and tell them to leave me in jail, because I could manipulate my way out of anything. You know, I got a very enabling mom who I love dearly. You know, I am a mama's boy. I have no shame in saying it. you know, but I will manipulate any situation I can, especially in my addiction. And I've actually learned how to do it appropriately in my recovery, to help the next person. So the hardest thing was making that phone call. And then I remember after withdrawing in jail, I was like, I'm done with this, you know, I'm done. But once I was done withdrawing, sitting in jail, all it was like, all right, send me upstate. You know, I was looking at a decent amount. You know, I probably could have got out in 18 months. I would have been fine. I didn't want to go to prison, but I'd figure it out. You know, I'm a survivor. So I'm sitting there waiting to go up to prison, and I get offered drug court. I decided to take it because why not? I get out of jail, and, you know, I remember my counselor at the time, Summer, saying, all you got to do is show up. You don't even have to piss clean. Just show up and be honest. You know, so I was like, okay, that's simple. You know, I can show up. That's fine. I can put on a fake face and put on a mask and do whatever you guys gotta do, because I know how to treatment talk. I can treatment talk just fine, and I can put up my walls, and I don't have to let anybody in. Once I finally got into drug court, I was welcomed with open arms, and that's where my life started to change. I still never wanted to be clean and sober. I remember the hardest thing was going to groups and completely sitting there saying, yeah, I got clean time. And in my head, I knew that as soon as this was done, I'm just going to go back to doing what I got to do. If I complete drug court, I get all my charges dropped. You know, I'm not looking as a prison sentence. I won't have any felonies on my records. I'll have them as arrest records, but not actual felonies. You know, I'll be good to go. I won't have any issues. And I remember I was doing everything they were asking me, you know, to a T. If you ask me to do something, I'll do it just to get you off my back. I ended up chairing a meeting out in Merlin, and because they wanted me to get a position and be a part of and work the steps, I just did them as check marks. So we were headed out to the meeting one night, and I remember, this is just the story that they told me because I don't remember the night. We passed over the railroad tracks and we got Tboned. I just remember passing over the railroad tracks, and I remember waking up in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. No idea what was going on. Not a whole lot really was going through my head other than, you know, is everyone else okay? You know, stuff like that. I got to the hospital still thinking, okay, you know, my family's going to be here. You know, they're always there for me, but, you know, it still just isn't the same. And I remember after sitting in the hospital for, I don't know how long it was, maybe a couple hours, my sponsor at the time, who I actually more look at it as a mentor, you know, just somebody I could talk to, another person I could connect with, he actually ended up walking to the back room and seeing me. He was driving me out to the meeting, and he goes, hey, when you're ready, we brought the meeting to the hospital. We're out in the parking lot waiting for you. And I'm sitting there going, you know, why? You know, I'm just another dope fiend junkie that doesn't give two shits about you, so why do you guys care about me? And he goes, because that's what recovery is about. You're there for somebody when they're not able to be there for themselves. You know, I didn't tell nobody that I didn't want recovery. I didn't tell nobody that I didn't love myself. I didn't tell nobody that I didn't like them, you know, but clearly my perception and my demeanor and what I put off, they kind of assumed that. And so for them to show up and we were able to go have a meeting out in the parking lot of the hospital meant the world to me. I find, like, it gives me goosebumps right now thinking of it, because I finally felt a part of something. You know, did I really like it? No. Did I really want it? Yeah, but not really, you know, because they were living a different lifestyle than I really wanted. But it finally gave me some type of hope that somebody wants me to be a part of something, you know, that I actually can feel that rather than just somebody saying that, whether I believe it or not. So I decided, you know what, let's give recovery an actual shot. And that's where I make the little slogan, recovery got me, I didn't get recovery. You know, it swooped me up, and it led me to meet what I consider my family now. Led me to a great man that helped me with all my recovery in every aspect. And the biggest part, there's two main people that helped me in everything. And the biggest thing is that they never pushed me. You know, they pushed me when it came to I was being ready, but they never not accepted me for anything. You know, if I was not wanting to talk about it, they would not push and ask me to talk about shit. You know, I remember they used to always sit there, and every meeting I'd go to, they'd sit there and say, hey, you got to get a sponsor. You got to work the steps. You got to do this, or, get clean or die. And I was the type of person that, my first couple of years of recovery, it was like, check it out. Like, anything you tell me to do, I'm going to do the opposite. So you force me to do something, I'm not going to do it. I have to be willing and accepting to do it in order for me to do it. And if you're telling me the only way that I can be clean and sober and the only way I can have a nice life is if I do the steps, not happening. I'm going to prove you wrong, And I tried doing that for a while, and I was miserable. I'll be honest. I loved life at times, but I was miserable. And then I finally decided, you know what? What's the worst case scenario? Let's give it a shot. So I decided to ask this guy to sponsor me. And he goes, the first thing he said was, what can you commit to? And I thought I'd throw it back in his face and say, I'll commit to 1 step a year. And he goes, okay. And I was like, whoa, no. You're supposed to like frown upon that. You're supposed to like, all right, I can't sponsor you. Go to somebody else, checked out, this and that. But he accepted me. And that right there, once again, let me believe that recovery could be possible. It could be possible. Like, he accepted me for where I was at. So upon doing drug court, and I was working with him, and I completed drug court, and I really didn't know what I was going to do after drug court. I'm off paper. What do I do now? I built these great friends. I don't really want to give them up because I've given everything to them. And more importantly, they've given everything to me. So why don't I start to give back a little bit? We had this mentor program that we created, and it ended up being something where, hey, we just kind of get together as people that graduated drug court, and, we'd go and we'd talk to other drug court members that were currently in the program and, kind of talk with them and see what's going on. And then it led to, hey, this could possibly be something where you could talk to most of these individuals. Okay, let's give it a shot. So I'd get more people that I'd talk to. And then I got real distant because for whatever reason, I thought that I was entitled and I had made my mark and I was something special because I graduated drug court. To be honest with you, I wasn't nothing. I was just another dope fiend that had a couple more days than somebody else. So I had to humble myself and figure out that, I had to go back to when I remember being accepted the first time. Was they weren't forcing things on me. They weren't making me do stuff. They simply said, okay, when I was ready, and they were there. That's all. So I decided to change that a little bit. And with the help of some of my coworkers and my current boss right now, they've helped guide me to, which is very ironic because that's my whole thing is I want to be accepted. The second part that I like to talk about is the diversity amongst unity. I said at the beginning there that I don't plant my flag simply because then I'm closed-minded, and that's the only way that I could do recovery, and that's the only way that it works. It's sad that there's a lot of different ways and different styles of recovery, and not everybody appreciates all of them, and they don't accept all of them. I'd be the first one to tell you that I wasn't one that would accept certain people or certain situations or certain recovery styles either. But because of the people I surrounded myself with, and because of me being able to be open and honest and be transparent, I was able to accept that there are other aspects out there. And I think that's what's helped most with me being able to work in the field now and actually work with people is I really don't care what your background is. I've been through some stuff. I know some people who've been through some stuff. There's not a whole lot you can say that isn't going to make me just go, okay, cool. We're there for one another. We're not there to sit there and say that this is the only way that you can be clean and sober. You have to do this in order to do this. That's not it. There's so many new things that are coming out now that are working for people. And that's why I like to be open-minded. I'll be honest with you. I fall short all the time. I fall short every day. I relapse probably a couple times a day, and there's a difference in relapse because most people think, oh my God, he used. No, I relapse in behaviors every day. Just the other day, I was pissed off And the worst part about it is I took it out on my family. I took it out on the people closest to me. They didn't have anything to do with it, but I took it out on them because for whatever reason internally I thought that they could handle it because they're never going to leave me. They love me. They're always going to be there. That's wrong. That's a relapse. You know, I have to work on stuff on a daily basis, you know, and I have to be able to have those family members, those two guys, especially the one, he can be there at a moment's notice. You know, I've been through a couple things in my recovery. I recently lost my my grandma, and I'm on the verge right now of losing my grandpa, and it's kind of hard to talk about. I haven't talked about it a lot, and because I have a family, we were hanging out one night and we decided to get this Life 360 app so that way we could know where we each other are, and we knew that we were okay. I decided when I found out my grandma died, I decided to run. Yeah, there might have been some thoughts about using, but I just wanted to run. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to look at nobody. I just wanted to go away. So I ran. And sure enough, that guy, he ended up, my buddy, he found me. You know, he found me out in Rogue River, hanging out at an old place that me and my grandma used to go to. You know, and all he did is he just came up and gave me a hug. He accepted me right where I was. Didn't ask me any questions, you know, until I was ready. He just gave me a hug, sat with me, and I'm never going to forget that moment, you know, because that's what it's about, is having somebody that'll be there no matter what. You know, even if he didn't end up being there right when I got there, he was there a couple hours later, less than that, he was there. And I'm forever grateful for it, you know. So to touch base with that, it's being able to build a foundation of what's working for you. You know, one of the biggest things that's worked for me is having that connection with them, and also being able to get back into what I really enjoyed as a kid, you know, which was sports. You know, my family was huge into sports. So being able to go down to the softball field and either just completely take everything out of my mind and just swing a bat, hit some ground balls, take some ground balls. You know, the best part actually is when I have family members that their kids actually ask me, hey, can we go down to the ball field? And I'm able to be there for the next generation, because the most important thing for anybody is being able to be active, you know, because that's how you're going to release any type of endorphins. Like, I'm done getting high off something else, you know, off an illegal substance. Why can't I get high? And I can actually get the same high pretty much just by releasing the same endorphins. And for me, it's playing ball. It's being out there. You can smell the grass. You can swing a bat. You're laughing with your friends that are family members. You know, you're able to just step outside for a second and be away from everything that's going on, all the chaos that's going on, especially right now, the whole COVID, all this fire stuff. Being able to be there for somebody else is been the biggest thing for me. And in reality, I'm not even there necessarily to help them. More importantly, I'm there so they can help me. You know, and that may be selfish, but they're helping me stay clean and sober by being able to let me in their life to help them stay or get clean and sober. And all that it's been is just accepting them. And if I can accept them, then in reality they end up accepting me, and that's all I want. You know, that's all anybody really wants. You know, anybody that really has a heart will sit there and say, you just want to feel a part of something. You want to be accepted. Well, how can we accept somebody if we're not even willing to hear, like, past certain things? You know, like, there's people that talk about down on Matt. I was one of the first ones that used to talk down on Matt. You know, medicated assisted treatment. But in reality, what does it matter? That's their program. Do you accept them? Are they willing to make something different? You know, all we're trying to do is plant seeds so that way down the line, when they're ready, they're ready. You can't force somebody to get clean and sober. You know, when people call me and they think that, oh my God, because I got, you know, just over 6 years, I have all the answers. They call me, hey, what do I do with my brother or my cousin or this friend of mine that's drunk or high, I need help. Well, if they ain't ready, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing I can do or say. There's nothing you can do or say. You got to worry about yourself right now then. You know, you got to be able to be there when they're ready. You know, learn how to love somebody from a distance. And it's hard, but that's all I know that has worked for me. You know, I ended up bouncing around from different meetings because I never felt accepted at any of them, because I wouldn't give them 100%, because I didn't want to give them 100%. And so because I wasn't ready, there in return, I felt like they didn't accept me. That's my own shit, 100%. But looking back on it now, that's how I'm able to help the next person, is because I'm not going to sit there and say that this is the only way you're going to do this. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, the only way I'm going to work with you if you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All I need you to do is show up and be honest with me, you know? Because even if you lie, I'm still going to figure it out. You know, it's how life works, you know? People are easy to read. And I know that just because I am one. I think that I got it all figured out. I don't. You know, the biggest thing that I do with choices and drug court now is I bridge the gap. You know, I bridge the gap for how someone who's hopeless and helpless can look at me, and if they get hope from me because of what I'm doing, great. But that's not why I do it. I do it because I remember what they felt like, having that hopeless, helpless feeling of, I don't know how to talk to a judge. I don't know how to talk to a doctor. I don't know how to talk to a counselor. I don't know how to talk to a therapist. I have no problem sitting with them right there and being real. Hey, check it out. This is really how it is. All they want to know is, what's your name? You know, they want you to just be on. Like, we get into those phases of intimidation, and there's concepts of a power trip, you know, and I play the same role. You know, there's times where I think that all of a sudden, because I work for drug court, I'm also tied in with probation. I have, you know, all these team members, I can just drop the law on people. I ain't shit. I can't do nothing, you know? So how can I be there to help them? I can bridge that gap. Hey, why don't we make this phone call together? Why don't we do something together? You know, you're not alone in this. And that's been the best part about it, is realizing that I'm not alone, so that way I can help other people feel that they're not alone. You know, I don't know a whole lot about what's going to work for you guys, or what's going to work for the people that you know that are struggling. I know that the best thing I can tell you is build a foundation. Yeah, I work in a treatment center, but like it or not, treatment center has an end date. You know, what are you doing outside of that? You know, are you going out and finding those endorphins and finding that family and finding that lifestyle that gives you hope? If that's what you can do, hey, let's do it. You know, hopefully we can do it together. I'll have an open mind. I've done a lot of crazy stuff in my recovery. I've done some crazy stuff in my addiction, but I've done crazier things in my recovery just because I had an open mind to see if it was going to be something that would release some endorphins to where I can do something clean and sober. And that's been the best, you know. I know I was supposed to talk for about 30, 40 minutes, so I got about 10 minutes. I'll kind of go into a little depth of, you know, what drug court has helped me help others. And I kind of talked about it briefly. The biggest thing that we try and do is we try and be there and walk alongside. You know, the first thing I always tell someone that comes in and talks to me, whether I'm on the clock or not on the clock, is if you got a good enough reason, call me, I'll buy. I'd be willing to give up 6 years if you can call me before you use, and I will buy. You can convince me that whatever reason you want to go get high over is better than anything I've been through in recovery or anything I know people have been through recovery. Great, I'll buy. I make a paycheck now, you know, and I make a legal one. And I have no problem throwing that out the window if there's some good enough reason. I can tell you right now, I've been saying it for a couple of years, haven't found a good enough one. A lot of people don't call me, you know, because they're worried that they're going to get in trouble or some shit like that. You know, I can help you after the fact, but I can help you so much more before you use. The biggest thing I want to make sure everybody understands from this is I refuse to be anonymous. I know a lot of recovery programs, they talk about their anonymity, and I'm not going to sit here and say that You can't see me and say hi. You can't see me and say, hey, you're that person that talks about recovery. Hey, you're that dope fiend. Hey, you're that junkie. Go ahead, call me it. I've been called everything in the book. There's nothing you can do that can say that's really going to affect me, you know, because it's not, I don't care anymore about necessarily what you guys have to say or feel about me. I accept me for me. I still have my struggles. I still doubt myself a lot. I still have a lot of fears. I mean, what human doesn't? But I don't let someone else control me anymore. I don't let something else control me anymore. You know, I get to choose what I get to choose now. And I choose to live a healthy life. Yeah, I'm fat, you know. I definitely put down the spoon, picked up the fork, but I got family members that'll call me out on it and help me work forward. That's the biggest thing, and I'm going to keep reiterating it, is family. Blood don't make you family, you know. I may not know a single person in this room. I know a few. Don't hesitate, you know. Just because you think that what your struggles have been, whether it be alcohol, opiates, meth, porn, money, I don't give two craps what your shit is. Reach out to somebody and talk, because the opposite of addiction is connection. And the only thing that's going to help you get through something is somebody else going through it with you. So that's all I got. I know it's short, but they said about 30, 40 minutes. So I don't know. It's weird talking on Zoom. So you guys go ahead and do what you got to do. Archie, Jay.
All right, thanks, Titan, for sharing your story. Appreciate that. At this point, we are going to open it up to anybody that has any comments or questions or just anything that you want to say to either Titan or the group in general. So go ahead and unmute yourself and fire away.
Well, hey, Titan, it's Rick.
Hi, Rick.
And God bless you for lighting the way, brother. Thanks for giving away what was given to you. You know, I remember when you weren't ready. But, you know, you're still here, so you got ready. And you got ready under this watch, you know, during this time. And that's a blessing. And I'm just grateful to be a part of that. So thanks for taking the risk to share with us tonight and to take the risk every day to help other folks find their way. So right on. God bless you.
Appreciate everything you've done for me, Rick. I remember the first time I came in there and you actually had me turn in my meds. I was not happy about it, but you know what? I threw them in the center of the room. I said, all right, go ahead, take them. Yep.
Hey, Titan.
Hi, Brandy.
I just wanted to tell you thank you too. Just you coming in when I was in jail and first starting drug court and then going back, like you've done so much for me, like you don't even realize. And I'm gonna make myself cry. I really appreciate you a lot. And that story was amazing.
Thanks, Brandy. In reality, you did it yourself.
Yeah.
I was there when you were.
I've done it without the help.
Thank you, Brandy.
Welcome.
Yeah, Titan, this is Kipper. It's great hearing your story there. You know, I've been having an addiction problem with some ribeye and think I might relapse on it. And I hear you're buying. So, you know, tonight's free, tomorrow's free.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing, buddy. Appreciate it.
No problem, Kipper. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Titan. It's Nicole.
Hi,
I
Nicole.
appreciate you. Hi. I appreciate you sharing your story. Of course, it relates to me a bit. Like I'm sure it does everyone. But it really touched me, like when you said that the group came to the hospital and had a meeting there with you. Like that's amazing. But thanks for being there and thanks for this meeting. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah,
Titan.
Go ahead. What's up?
I just wanted to let you know that you have been a huge inspiration to me throughout my entire journey in recovery this far. And, you know, you've helped me to become more open-minded and look at recovery in different aspects and, you know, not casting people out or aside because their recovery looks different. You actually have taught me to, you know, whatever keeps you clean, man. And, you know, the more that I go forward on my journey, I realize how important that is to people, because everybody has something different, and different things work for different people. I don't know how many times I've come down to choices, and, you know, in my journey in drug court, or even now today, you know, with processing certain things, and, you know, that acceptance part is really important. And I love it that you bring that up. You know, you've definitely been there for me and shown me so many things in recovery. And for that those are priceless gifts to me. You know, and I see the way that you are in the community, the way that you are at Choices, the way that you help other people. You know, you're almost like a no bullshit zone, you know, excuse my language, but, you know, you get right down to the point of things, and, you know, you give people an option, you know, it's this or it's that, you know, and if it is, I'll buy, you know. I just really, really appreciate you, and I love your heart, and, you know, I love the fact that you're giving back, and you really give back, and you work hard at it. I enjoy working alongside you. You're a huge inspiration to me, and I love you, buddy.
Thanks, Janae.
Hi, Titan. It's your coworker, Kyla, and
Hi,
Ben.
Kyla. Hi,
Hi.
Ben.
Thank you for sharing your message. Everybody was wondering where you were at, and I told them that you were sharing your powerful story with the community, and we appreciate you. But I think, and I have a question, and if you'd like to share what you're understanding and where you're at with your higher power right now.
That's a great one. I appreciate you. That's why I have family to call me out on things. So my thing with the higher power is I struggle with it, you know. I do believe that there is a higher power. I do believe that everybody has their own purpose and everybody has their own things to believe in. I struggle with a lot of aspects of a higher power, because what I've been through in my life is I've been able to do shit by actually putting the work in, you know, not by just leaving it up to some random entity or random thing or person or whatever. And so I struggle with that. But my biggest thing is I separated higher power and God and all that to more or less of just something bigger than myself. And the thing bigger than myself is an addict alone is in bad company. And I know that I can see 2, 3, 4 of them right now that I'm never alone with them. You know, I know that I can go over there, whether I have something to say or not. I can just vent, or I can ask for guidance. And I know that they're going to be real with me. I know that they're going to accept me, and I know that they're going to help guide me through something. So it may not be God per se for me, but I'm not going to shut out that door. I'm going to challenge it, because I'm a debate master, and I will challenge anything, and I'm willing to look at it and talk about it, but I'm not going to shut the door on it. So I'm still open-minded to it, you know, and I appreciate you trying to call me out on that, and I am grateful for that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey, Bubba, you know I love you too. This is Sam.
Hi, Sam Bell.
Hey, I got a question for you. If there's anybody that's a newcomer in this meeting, or somebody that's struggling to get connected, I was just in a Zoom meeting, and there was a fella in there that he's got, you know, not too much time, and he was, you know, he's hesitant on getting connected and reaching out. So what do you tell people that are coming into recovery or to counseling with Choices or whoever it may be, how to break that barrier bubble to get out of that shell? Because, you know, as you know, we're outgoing like a lot of people aren't. We're not shy. We walk right up to people. What do you tell the newcomer that's hesitant on getting connected with the 12-step fellowship or just a group of people that's in recovery?
So first and foremost, I love you, dog. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my recovery. But honestly, the biggest thing is, so there's this thing called motivational interviewing. You know, it's where you ask open-ended questions and you just kind of talk with them, get to find out some of their backstory, and hear things that you can hear a change in their voice when they talk back and they give a response of what they're interested in. And then you can throw out ideas as well. The biggest thing is, you know, bring them along, throw them in the car. And if what they're interested in is, you know, there's a lot of people that are really interested in telehealth right now because they don't have to worry about that anxiety of being somewhere and actually having that connection, even though they want that connection. It's honestly up to them. But if you ask open-ended questions, you know, like, hey, so what are you interested in? You know, what do you like to do? You know, and you'll hear little things like I was working with somebody the other day, and he doesn't want anything to do with AA, NA, CR, you know, any of that. He has to go to treatment, but he likes working on cars and doing this and that. So we got to talking about my grandpa's cars and how he's built them. And you could see that he started to change his motto and he was more open. He sat back in his chair. He was able to kind of talk. That right there, you could already tell he's willing and he's starting to accept a line of communication. If you can open that door, then who knows what'll go from there. I can't give you some guru, rub the genie bottle answer that's going to tell you how to talk to somebody or how to get something out of somebody. I can tell you that if you do enough talking, which I know you do, and I know I do, you do enough talking, you're going to get something out of somebody, you know, but when they're ready. And then you can open that door and talk to them and work on stuff and go forward with them. You know, for the people that are hesitant on connectivity and stuff like that, that's fine. You know, I don't care what it is that gets you excited or gets you involved. You know, it could be a freaking brick wall that you want to talk to. So what? You're talking. You know, you're able to get stuff out. Hopefully you can get to the point of being able to talk to somebody. But right now, how do we get you in the door? All right, you're in the door. Next step, how do we get you to open up? Biggest thing on that is acceptance. And, you know, a lot of those things is you have to look in yourself. How did you want to get accepted? What did you need when you were in early recovery? When you were in their shoes, what did you need? Might be different. You know, what you needed might be, hey, I need somebody on my ass 24/7. Hey, if that's what works for them, great. I know plenty of people that will sit with you 24/7. There's other people that it's like, you know what? I just want somebody to call me maybe once a month, check in on me. Okay. Then you start building that relationship and then you're able to communicate more. Pretty soon they end up calling you 3 times a day. And it's like, all right, enough. I'll give you somebody else to talk to. I got other shit, you know, but you're still there for them. You open that door, you got them interested. You just got to find out what they're into.
Well put, my brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, Bubba.
All right, any more questions or comments out there? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question or comment. All right, well, we'll wrap it up then. Thanks again, Titan, for being with us tonight. We're very, very blessed that you could share your story and be here, be our guest speaker tonight. Tentatively speaking, we think that we will be doing next month maybe an in-person Be Strong meeting down at Tap Rock. That's the tentative plan, but either way, it'll be on the second Tuesday of next month. So we'll, if you want to follow future meetings, you can just check us out on our Facebook page at Grace Roots Facebook page, or on our website at grace-roots.org. This video and previous talks are also up on our YouTube page. This will be up on our YouTube page in a couple of days. So thanks again, Titan. We very much appreciate it, and hope everybody has a great night and stay safe out there.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, everybody.
Love you, Titan.
Thanks, Titan.
Woo!
Swag sober.
Flag sober.